Yo, what's going on, people? So this one I'm going to be showing you guys how to really just sauce up the 808s in your beats, how to make them hit nice and hard, how to make them hit clean, just how to mix them, and overall just how to make those unique 808 patterns that, you know, just get the beat thumping nice. Yeah, the timing is actually perfect because I've recently just dropped a brand new kit called the 808 Kingdom kit. It's definitely going to come in handy for this one because there's tons of really unique 808s in there, a ton of bonuses as well, which we'll get into in the video. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. All right, to kick things off, we're just going to make a quick little melody. I've just got this nice catchy melody that we've made right here. Started off with this morphine preset. Little brass section. Yep, sounding clean. Now let's just get straight into the sauce, man. So when it comes to making 808 patterns and just ones that really stick out in the mix, all you have to do really is focus on two things. One of them is sound selection, so just finding the right 808 sounds. And then the other one is just the bounce, just establishing a bounce that fits well with the melody and just kind of fits well with the overall vibe of the beat. There is no real rules to it. Over time, and as you put the reps in, it's going to get a bit easier to just find that rhythm and find that bounce instead of just making like kind of basic and boring 808 patterns. Yeah, hopefully we can get some pointers in here and hopefully give you some sauce. So as I said, the kit we're going to be using is the 808 Kingdom kit. This is a brand new kit that I've only just dropped on my website at prodllb.com. Kind of comes as like a bundle. We got tons of stuff in here, man. We've got long tail 808s, over 50 of those, short tail 808s, around 50 of those too, 100 808 midis. I've included some iterations of the popular spins and Z 808s, kind of ran them through some premium distortion plugins, premium saturation plugins, and just really made them hit even harder and cleaner than they already are. There's some bonus bass one shots in there just so you can add variation to your low end too. Got some acoustic ones, some synth ones. For the launch week, there's a ton of bonuses, including a free drum kit, a theme kit for FL Studio, 30 days inside my private community, the LLB Producer Circle, a $15 gift card, and a brand new video course on a subject we're about to get into, only in a lot more depth, a lot more detail. So yeah, I'll leave a link to this kit down in the description, and it's at a discount too. But yeah, let's get into the 808s, man. So the first thing we need to do is just find a nice 808. I'm just going to play the melody and then just kind of find an 808 that fits this one nicely. So we'll come into the long tail 808s. Yeah, this Infinity one sounds kind of nice. We'll go with this one, man. Just go with your gut. There's no real rules to it. Just keep going until you hear something where you're like, oh, hang on, that sounds really sort of cohesive with what I'm playing. Now it's down to just putting a pattern in that sounds super catchy and just goes well with the melody. So first of all, we're just going to establish the root notes of our melody. Now for this melody, it's kind of simple. You can see the ghost notes in the MIDI right here. We just went from E down to C. So we're in the key of E minor, just gone from E down to C. Yeah, to start off, we'll get a basic bounce. Literally just following the root note. But yeah, one thing that I want to do is just manipulate this 808 a little bit. I like the feeling of it, the sonics of it, but I want it to be a little bit short tail. So all I'm going to do is just come into this box right here, drag this out, dial up a little bit. Yeah, super short. Yeah, I like that because I really want to make this quite a busy 808 pattern. So now we've got that, we can just go in and just find all the pockets, man. Now the main bounce for the hip hop kind of vibes that we're going for is just kind of standard like this. So that's like the standard bounce, and we could just leave it like that. I mean, there's tons of beats that are charting, that Wheezy's produced, Metro Boomin, that follow a very, very similar pattern. But I really do want to make this one more unique and just spice up the low end, give it a different bounce. So let's just go in and use this as like a template, and then we can just plug these gaps with little filler notes, little higher notes, lower notes, just to give this thing more swing and more character. Yeah, that's kind of cool, man. We're at a real slow tempo, so just filling out all these gaps is going to be okay because we've got tons of space to work with. So Now you might notice that I've put a couple of keys that are kind of not following the root note. They're kind of close to it, but they're not exactly on the right chord. Now this is actually okay. You can do this when you're transitioning from one chord to the next, or from one root note to the next. Putting in these notes that are close to the root note that you're on just before it switches is a really good way to just act as like a transition down to the next chord or up to the next chord. So yeah, this is sounding really nice. I think we'll go with this. Or if you want to save a ton of time, I've made 100 pre-made 808 midis just like this one, included with the 808 MIDI kit. I've covered as many keys, as many tempos as possible within all of these 100 midis, just so that if you're having one of them days where you're not feeling super inspired, all you have to do is just drag one of these in and you just get an instant bounce. Let's try this one. Let's try this next one. It'll roll. That's so hard, man. Try this one. Literally they just all work. As long as you got the key locked in, it works perfectly, man. Yeah, huge time saver. Yeah, for the time being, we'll just rock with what we've got. So now we've got a nice balance with the 808. We can do a few more things just to really spice this up even more. One thing that I like to do is, as the beat's progressing, we can just switch out the 808 for a completely different sound. Maybe something a bit shorter, something a bit longer. So we'll jump into the short tail 808s in the 808 Kingdom kit. Maybe this treesh one. That sounds kind of cool. And yeah, we'll just literally just copy and paste what we have from the first 808 into this one. Let's just go add in some extra drums, like some actual percussion, so we can get more of a bounce for this, and then we'll just go back into some mixing tricks, just some little techniques that I like to do when I'm making my 808s. So for the main drums, I'm going to come into a bonus kit that I've included with the 808 Kingdom kit. It's a full unreleased kit full of my go-to sounds. It's called the Secrets drum kit. We've got even more 808s. We've got a bunch of bass one-shots, claps, crashes, hi-hats, kick snares, rims, just everything that you need in the kit. So yeah, we're going to jump in and make a little drum bounce. Clap, clap, clap. Little snare roll at the end. Little simple open hat pattern. And maybe just a kick. Okay, now we've got a nice bounce established. We can kind of just see what works now. We can just really see if both of those 808s work with the beat. So let's just switch in and out of these two. Yeah, it's more space with this one. One extra thing that I like to do is to add even more variation in the low end by just adding like a nice bass synth or like a nice bass one shot. And yeah, look at it, we got some real clean bass one shots included with the 808 Kingdom kit. So normally bringing a synth bass in is a really good way to kind of build more tension, to build back up to like the pre-hook or to like the main hook. It's just a way of sort of breaking down the energy, adding a bit more tension. So let's just have a section where all the drums come out, and then we'll just add a new bass. We'll jump back into the 808 Kingdom kit, man. We'll just find a nice bass one shot. Got a bunch of these nice acoustic ones. Slider one sounds sick, but I think for this beat we'll go for this synth one shots. These sound a bit more ambient and more like fit into this beat. Yeah, this Roman one. First things first, we're going to just come into the envelope of the sound, turn the attack down, turn the hold up, everything else down. Sometimes I like to just turn the attack up a little bit. It just smoothens off the initial peak. You can kind of ease into it however you like. I like to just do it a little bit. But yeah, after that, we're just going to add a real simple pattern. But just small switch ups in the low end like this really make a big difference to the end product when it comes to, you know, making full beats. And here we can add a bit more variation. Yeah, we just go. Maybe jump up an octave right here. just constantly switching up that low end, not by making the pattern super different and putting tons of time into it, but just simply using the bounce you already have and just switching out the sounds makes a huge difference. So now we've got all of that, we can get to some mixing tricks on how you can just make your 808 sound a little bit more coherent, a little bit more clear in the mix, and just a few little subtle things that I like to do when I'm mixing my 808s. So one little trick that I like to do with my 808s is just adding a little bit of distortion, but what most producers will do, they'll just bring in a distortion plugin. So we'll just go with the Fruity Fast Dist, find a preset. Sounds kind of nice, and then they'll just leave it. But there's two things to really dial in. First thing I have to pay attention to is just the mix dial. It's really important just to dial this back a little bit, just solo it so you guys can hear it. Now, one thing to consider is that you do need context when you're mixing your 808s. I'm just going to solo it for the purposes of this video, but when you're dialing in distortion, it's good to have more of a reference, because sometimes it might sound too heavy when you solo in the 808, but in context with the rest of the mix, it needs that extra little bit to really make it cut through the mix. So let's take a listen. It's nice and clean. Now, one other thing when it comes to distortion is that sometimes the mid information might be nice with the distortion, but the top end is really sharp and it can kind of cause a little bit of clashing up in the top end. So sometimes it's nice just to add a little bit of EQ, just dial it back a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot, but just rolling off the high frequencies a little bit just takes care of that distortion and keeps it kind of under control. Now, the only other thing that I really think about adding when I'm mixing my 808s, and again, this is not all the time, but I like to add some saturation. Now, my go-to saturator, it's called the Decapitator. It's from Sound Toys. So here it is, man. I'm just going to crank this drive knob and then just see what kind of harmonics we can get out of it. Yeah, I mean, just that one dial, just cranking some drive into it makes a big difference. Got some of these styles down here we can flick between. More of an aggressive one. But yeah, I'm just going to stick with this initial style. I like this. But as I say, you don't always need to add saturation. You don't always need to add distortion. And to be fair, in this 808 Kingdom kit, all of the 808s are all pre-mixed. I've added my own distortion. I've added my own sort of tweaks to them and my own sound design so that they're just coming through and hitting nice and clean anyway. So yeah, if you get the kit, you're going to save yourself a lot of time with that too. It came together nice, man. Pause. Yeah, that's a vibe, man. I hope there's some sauce in there for you guys mixing your 808s. And if you do want to save a whole bunch of time and just get all the sauce when it comes to your 808s, plus a ton of MIDI, plus all of these bonuses too, then definitely check out the 808 Kingdom kit, man. It's got you covered for all bases in this kit. And yeah, it's just a sick kit, man. We'll definitely appreciate the support from you guys too. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. That's going to be it from me. Peace.